If you were 2-7, you'd be in a bad mood too.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. And he hits the upright again. That's impossible.
Get your mouth shut. Get your mouth shut. Jerk.
The Bears' season's going to end on a double doink.
If worms had machine guns, then birds wouldn't be scared of them.
No Cowboys, so I'll start with the Lions versus Stafford. Do you have Cowboys?
I'm just gonna talk about real quick about this week's matchup, but that's it.
And then do you have stuff on the Bears?
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
I missed it was at the same time as the Lions game, so I know they got killed, but so that's good.
Bloodbath.
And then upset specials to end it.
Yep.
All right. Just swig of soda here. Jorge Soler is not fucking around.
I know. I had a $10 bonus. He was part of my parlay to hit a home run this evening.
Soler, wow.
Yeah. I saw his batting practice. I'm like, I feel like likes playing there.
Jesus.
He seems to be destroying the ball, like putting it through the wall. So
first swing of the game. So yeah, I guess he's feeling comfortable.
Yeah. All right. You ready?
Yep.
Well, almost. You there? All right. There we go.
I'm ready.
I don't know why. Just something struck me funny.
This is football.
Yeah, well, that's what struck me funny because we talked about baseball for a second. I had to regroup there for a second.
Shouldn't have done that. Threw you off.
I know you know it's late in the day after a long day of work here. Okay. Yeah. Hey, how's everyone doing out there? Welcome to a Word Hole Media presentation of the Limp Ditkus podcast. I'm Pete.
I'm Ryan. Welcome to the Limp Ditkus podcast. Just a couple of Chicago pricks united by our hatred for Michigan football and the Chicago Bears.
We got a lot of that, a lot of hate coming out this week.
Oh yeah, this is officially hate week in the state of Michigan as the whole world descends upon East Lansing for the big Michigan game on Saturday. We've also got your Notre Dame Fighting Irish to talk about, and we've got our updated Limp 6 top 6 rankings. We do have the Detroit Lions taking on Matthew Stafford and his Los Angeles Rams last weekend in a referendum on whether the Lions are a failure or Matt Stafford was a failure, and I think we all knew the answer to that. Cowboys had a bye week, but you have a little bit of a preview, and of course the Chicago Bears embarrassed themselves in Tampa Bay this week. So
I'm not gonna say someone called that one, but they did.
That's gonna be fun to talk about. So let's go ahead and kick this motherfucker off. As I mentioned, the whole world is descending on Spartan Stadium, 8.3 miles away from where I am sitting at this moment.
But
I am actually leaving Saturday morning to go about 250 miles away to the suburbs of Chicago for whatever reasons.
I can't take the pressure. I gotta get out.
Way too much going on here, so I had to get the fuck out. Yeah, all my friends, including your ugly face over there, will be meeting up in Western Springs and drinking a bunch of free beer and watching games and enjoying outdoor fire pits.
I'm doing some cooking too. I'm bringing some.
Are you cooking?
Some of my Louisiana rub chicken wings for everyone to enjoy. So
awesome. Well, that no one cares about, but I appreciate it.
Well, yeah, we're talking. Since we're just talking at the moment.
The whole world
is on topic.
Yes, the whole world, as I mentioned, is descending because both Michigan and Michigan State are ranked in the top 10 undefeated for the first time in this glory history. I believe in 1964, both were ranked in the top 10, but Michigan State already had a loss that year. So this might be the only time they've ever faced off undefeated in both of the top 10. And there was some question this week whether College Game Day would be at Spartan Stadium. I had a feeling Big Noon, Fox's Big Noon show, which is essentially ESPN Game Day, College Game Day. I knew they would be there because the game is on Fox, which is actually the reason the game is at noon local time and not at a reasonable 3:30 or 7:00 as I had hoped. So I wouldn't have had to leave at an ungodly hour to get to Chicago. But it's eventually it was announced that ESPN College Game Day would also be there. So we'll have dueling live shows Saturday morning.
Finally, some little respect for this matchup.
Yeah,
finally occurring.
Essentially across the parking lot from each other. They're gonna be at opposite ends of a parking lot. So
I wonder if they're gonna fight.
I don't know what's gonna go. Yeah, I figured it's gonna be like the Anchorman.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Somehow he had a trident. The other news
that escalated quickly.
Yeah. Well, escalating quickly is Barstool Sports college football show is actually going to be there as well. I don't know if you've ever seen that. I've seen like little clips of it. I'm not sure if it's broadcast or if it's just an internet thing or what it is, but it's essentially a College Game Day, but with guys that don't know what they're talking about and just swear a lot, which is kind of like this podcast.
Kind of like this podcast. Yeah,
exactly. So everyone is there. Looking.
Wait, what are we doing? I should have been coming up to you. We should have been doing a live broadcast from the game.
We could have, yeah. I mean, that's just kind of the shit show we run here.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe we'll just do it live from Western Springs. It'll be exactly the same.
We could do that. We have the technology
with Callahan's TV in the background. People will think we're actually calling the game live if we just dress correctly.
The 80-inch outdoor television that should fool a lot of people. But so yeah, I mean I could bullshit you and try to break down the game and with expert sounding analysis, but I think really the game comes down to two factors: the Michigan State offensive line against Michigan's defense. If State's offensive line can hold their own and create a few holes for Kenneth Walker III and give Peyton Thorne a little bit of time to throw the ball, they're not going to have much trouble with Michigan. The big plays is what's going to kill Michigan. I'm not sure the Wolverines have even faced a real quarterback this year, so this is going to be the big test. Michigan, of course, on the opposite side, they don't throw the ball. They just don't. And you could argue maybe they've just been holding back all season long just for this game, but somehow I don't see it. They do run the ball effectively, so that's the other part that State will have to deal with. But I think, the running games are kind of a push, and it's really the explosive offense that State has that Michigan has not shown that could be the big difference. So I'm going to predict Michigan State wins 24-17. In a tough Big Ten matchup, not quite a rock fight as many Big Ten games end up being, but there's going to be one key play that changes the game, and it's going to be a long touchdown pass by Peyton Thorne, I think, or potentially a bust-out run by Kenneth Walker III. So that's how I've got that game broken down. I don't know if you've looked deeply into it, but
I didn't look deeply into it. But one thing I did notice right off the bat is Michigan State is getting zero respect as they are 4.5-point underdogs in their own house.
That's actually gone up since the line was released early this week. That it was 2.5 at one point. So I guess I'm not too surprised it's gone up because the respect is there's just so many goddamn Michigan alumni that would love to bet on Michigan. So I don't know. I don't see any discernible difference. They're ranked number 6 and number 8 or 6 and 7, depending on what polls you look at. They played similar schedules already, and they look almost the same. So for Michigan to be the favorite on the road seems kind of ridiculous. You talk about the home team usually gets an automatic 3 points. So this is essentially a 7-point swing. So I don't see it.
Well, normally I only give you guys one upset special, but obviously there's 2 upset specials this week. I'm riding the Smitty train. I did my best. I put a green Notre Dame hat on, and I'm wearing a greenish Cowboys shirt here to show my love for the state, who I don't think the game's going to be as tight as Smitty thinks. I think State is going to get this thing rolling, and Michigan's going to be holding their Ann Arbor in their hand like, what the fuck just happened? And before you know it, at the end of the first quarter, it's going to be like 17 or 21-0 State.
Whoa.
I think this is going to just get out of fucking control, because to your point, I've watched both teams this year. I haven't sat down and watched an entire game, but I've seen big chunks of games. And the one thing State brings that Michigan doesn't offensively is they do have some variety in what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And watching them a little bit in that last week was the reason I made the comment that I think they may have been holding back going into the bye week. And with the bye week, they can even insert some new stuff because they've got a couple weeks to work on it.
That's the other thing. Yeah, that's a good point, because that I think is a huge advantage for a college football team, to have 2 weeks to prepare for somebody and to prepare for your arch rival
at home.
Yeah,
I mean, it is set up perfectly for them, and we all know Jim Harbaugh is not some mastermind or anything like that. So I think this is, to your point, the line's pushed because probably Michigan people are betting heavy on Michigan. And that's probably what made the line go up like that. But it's shocking to me. Like you said, they've played similar schedules. They've had similar results. I think State's schedule might end up being just like a little bit tougher than what Michigan's played so far. But
they have similar down the stretch runs. So
but I really like the more versatility offensively, that State brings over Michigan. And I just think Michigan doesn't realize what the fuck's about to hit them.
Wow. What's your final score prediction?
38-17 State.
Damn. I would love that. That'd be nice to.
Oh, it'd be a fun afternoon. I can tell you that.
Yeah, starting at 11 a.m. Chicago time. I'm not sure if I'll be imbibing right away, as I am an old man, but maybe I will. Maybe I'll feel the spirit. But yeah, we've got a long day ahead of us with free beer and apparently plenty of food. I haven't heard anything about the menu until you just mentioned that. So
well, I asked. I said, "You want me to bring some food with?" We've got these chicken wings in the freezer that I make my own, concoction, and he's like, "Yeah, bring them up." Nice. I told him his nickname, Louisiana Rub, is his New Orleans nickname. So,
wow.
Anyways, after that thrilling game we're gonna watch, after the tension of the Michigan game at 2:30, we can roll right into a real big matchup for Notre Dame this week, as they are playing a terrible. Is it Navy this week? Whatever. It's just like I
think it's
terrible.
North Carolina.
Or North Carolina. Yeah, North Carolina. They have. So before we get into the recap of the USC game, real quick, they're playing North Carolina. Then they're playing Navy. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
Who's 1-6? They play no team over 500 the rest of the way, except for Virginia at 6-2. So the idea of Notre Dame running the table is not out of the question. And if the Big Ten starts beating up on each other, it could, open the door for, money because of TV and all that shit. But I don't see them getting there. But anyway,
you're ranked like number 11 right now.
Yeah, we moved up. Finally. Yeah. We moved up. We moved up by not playing, and then we moved up again by winning 31-16, a double-digit primetime victory over USC. USC is not USC, so to speak, as you would normally think of USC. So really not that big of a deal. They should win by double digits. And this is kind of, guys, for those of you who didn't see it, this was a little bit like that Wisconsin game where it was a lot closer, and then Notre Dame pulled away in the very end, not through like multiple turnovers in a row like Wisconsin did, but They kind of just put the hammer down late. But outside of that, it was a much closer, much more of a dogfight than the final score looked like. They played adequately again. They still have yet to, like, I feel like, put that total game together, and I'm happy that they haven't been catapulted up through the rankings, since they haven't lost since that early Cincinnati loss. It's good that they're sitting back where they're sitting, because they still have struggles offensively. They can't run the ball consistently, which is a huge issue, which I brought up week after week. But like I said, there's a very good chance they win out, and if everyone keeps beating up on everyone ahead of you win late, lose early, there seems to be a lot of forgiveness in that scenario. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. But yeah, I see no reason why they won't win easily this week at home against North Carolina, especially since it's at home. Like I said, a few weeks from now, Virginia on the road, who's currently 6-2. We'll see how that plays out. What's really funny, I was just thinking about this, and I think the same thing's kind of happened to Alabama now at this point. Like, when the schedule's posted with the preseason rankings and then some early movement right at the beginning, Notre Dame was playing 5 ranked teams. At the end of this, they will have played 2.
Yeah, I mean, that's not their fault by any means.
No, but yeah. So you put together this schedule and you try to put it together in a manner so you can get, more quality wins, and that is really not going to be the case at all. So,
but to your point though, if they're hanging around the top 10 right now, the Big Ten's going to be, they have 3 in the top 10 right now that are going to knock each other out.
Well,
maybe not all of them completely out, but that's going to work to your favor. And there's certainly going to be upsets along the way. So you could creep in. I mean, I could see in 2 weeks, you could be creeping easily into the top 10. Then, you get into the mix beyond that, and who knows what can happen. But yeah, having big victories down the stretch would be good. I always forget, do you guys, can you play in the ACC championship game?
No, that was an anomaly because of COVID, and
okay.
Where they actually played, they actually were inserted as like a full, because of lack of opponents.
Not that many games.
They had to play just as an ACC team, basically.
I was gonna say,
versus
that might help you a little bit if you could win the ACC, but who's going to win the ACC at this point? Is it? I mean, it's kind of down. I mean, it was always Clemson, but they're way down this year. So
yeah,
even if you won that championship game, it's not even that big a deal. But so Virginia, I guess, would be your.
Yeah, I mean, and that's our big opponent left, since they're sitting at 6-2. The only thing Notre Dame could hope for is they keep winning, creep into the top 25, and they beat them on the road, which would probably be a pretty strong boost for them. But the game I've circled is the primetime Big Ten game this week is Penn State's playing Ohio State, and if they can somehow knock off Ohio State,
well, if they can't beat Illinois at home,
I know,
but how they're going to beat
stranger things
Ohio
have
State.
happened.
Yeah, it's true.
Stranger things have happened.
Stranger Things was last weekend.
Yes.
It took 9 overtimes, but Illinois actually beat Penn State in what? Not College Station. What's it called? State something. What the fuck's that? State College. Sorry, State College, Pennsylvania. Yeah, I didn't watch any of that. It was not quality Illinois
football. It was not quality football by any stretch. So I was not watching it either. Right?
Is Brett Bielema the coach to Illinois now? Is that?
Yeah, I think so.
Over there. You don't even follow. Sure. It used to be your favorite school.
I watch their basketball team.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about rankings there, so we might as well jump into our own LDP top 6, the list 6, as we like to call it, and our de facto fake committee meeting on how to come up with the top 6. I'll go ahead and give you my top 6. It's similar to other weeks. At this point,
I got a bit of a shakeup in mind.
Ooh, nice. Well, I'm going by the same philosophy that the college football season is the regular season is a big 1-loss playoff. Basically, if you lose, you're out. That has to change after there's less than 6 undefeated teams in the Power 5 conferences, but we still have 6. There were 7 last week. Now we're down to 6. So I'm still going to stick with Georgia, Oklahoma, and Cincy as my top 3. I'm putting Michigan State at number 4 and Michigan at number 5 because I think Michigan is not as good as Michigan State. And but then at number 6, as Oklahoma State lost last week, the final Power 5 undefeated team is Wake Forest in the ACC. So I'm gonna place them this week as my number 6 team. Of course, Michigan and Michigan State play each other this weekend, so there will have to be at least one loss team in my rankings to start the show next week. So that'll change things, make things a little more realistic. I like my philosophy, at least, just to keep the sanctity of the college football regular season, which I think is the best regular season in all of sports. Just to place that emphasis on winning every fucking game. So those are mine. I think we probably still have the same top 3, but what you said, there's a shakeup in yours?
Well, I do not have the same top 3. Oklahoma, who I thought was going to just, pick it up, really struggled again this week.
Yeah.
So what I did is the following, and then we can discuss. Georgia number 1, Cincy number 2. The team I still think probably is really the best team in the country. Alabama number 3, MSU number 4, Michigan number 5. That's part of just making it more fun for this week's matchup, I'll admit it. And Oklahoma dropping to number 6.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Because of course, I mentioned, Michigan State, there's going to be somebody's going to lose in that. So that's going to shake up my top 6. And of course I would put Alabama in as the best 1-loss team in the country. Number 3, I think they are ranked number 3 in at least a couple of the polls right now. So that's not outrageous. I didn't think Cincy looked all that good last week. Of course they do. Their best win is Notre Dame on the road, unless they have a better win than that. But
because that was their first road win ever or something against a ranked opponent or something like that. Yeah. So they want to have a better win than that.
Yeah. But I can live with that. I could actually live with your entire ranking. So you had Georgia, then Cincy, then Alabama,
then the Michigan State. Michigan State, Michigan, then Oklahoma.
I think I could go with that. Oklahoma, yeah. I can't.
I took Oregon had trouble too, so I just took them out of it. Yet they moved up this week.
Yeah, they're number 7.
Yeah, they're what we were exactly talking about last week, where I think we got in that conversation. I said I think we're gonna see that Oregon's gonna jump back into the playoff.
Well, Oregon's ranked ahead of Michigan State in almost every poll somehow with a loss. So whatever, that's all going to change, one way or the other next week. So we don't have to worry about it. But I think I could actually go right with your rankings. I'm not
wow.
That.
All right.
I like shaking it up. And of course, this is all going to change next week. So
it's definitely going to change next week because someone's got to lose at 4 and 5. So yeah. Michigan, actually, let me just say what's going to happen. Michigan will not be in the top 6 next week.
No, I like it. I like that. Yeah. So yeah, let's project who's going to be in next week.
Well,
at some point, we don't have to do this this week. Probably don't have to do it next week. But at some point, we're going to have to talk about Ohio State. I know.
Well, not after they lose to Penn State this week.
Okay.
Then it all is working itself out. Just
that would be perfect.
Then
that would be perfect. We'll never have to talk about Ohio State.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
And I just wasted the last 30 seconds of our lives since they will be losing this weekend. So
yeah,
that's perfect.
I'll just be moving Notre Dame into the top 6 then.
We'll see if there's a path. There's an unlikely path, but there's
a very unlikely path. I can't even do it. I can't even do it on our own program.
Yeah, you own this. You could do anything you
know.
want, and you can't
Like-
even do this.
Notre Dame is number one.
Well,
All right.
that's all I've got for college, unless you had anything else.
No.
I think we should go ahead and take a break here on the Word Hole Media Network.
Word Hole Media.
Major League A-Holes in the Hole podcast, where baseball opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, and most of them stink. Find us at MajorLeagueAholes.com and anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Word Hole Media.
Well, the Detroit Lions traveled to Los Angeles to take on Matt Stafford and the LA Rams. And basically, what ends up being essentially going to visit your ex-girlfriend after she moved to California for a rich, hot guy in LA. And you're hoping that, things aren't working out so well and she's pining to get back with you. But unfortunately for Lions fans, that is not the case. Matt Stafford's doing all quite well. If you've noticed, the Rams are Super Bowl favorite at this point. I mean, you could make a strong argument Matt Stafford is the MVP of the league right now.
I'm not going to say that I didn't pick him for MVP, but I did.
Yeah, it's a good pick. What's most frustrating about that is just beyond the spite aspect of it, it has a real world effect that the Rams are so good because it affects the the first round draft picks that the Lions are going to be getting from the Rams as they keep getting worse as the Rams get better. So it's just a double kick to the nuts. But apparently lots and lots of Matthew Stafford support. As any Lions fan that traveled to Los Angeles this week was apparently wearing a Stafford jersey. So it was even brought up, or no, not sure if he brought it up, but Matt Stafford did comment on it. He said it was unbelievable how much Lions support he thought he noticed out there. So whatever. I mean, I understand there's nothing to hate about Matt Stafford. He's a super good guy, and it just never worked out for the Lions, basically because the Lions are a completely inept organization. So you can't blame Stafford for that. And this is kind of the referendum on that, as you see how successful he is outside of Detroit. It's obvious the problem has always been us. It's not you, it's me is what it comes down to. So it was just crazy that they would be on the schedule together because they don't often play the Rams. So, but of course, traveling to LA, thought they were going to get destroyed. I assumed it would be a bloodbath, and it was actually anything but. And I think we've got to give all the credit to Coach Dan Campbell for coaching way out of the box and doing everything he can with a subpar, barely pro roster that he's been dealt. Pulled out all the stops to maximize the talents that he does have on the roster, and made it a close game with the chance to actually win that in the fourth quarter, if not for some boneheaded plays that I'll get to in a bit. But the Lions actually drove right down the field, long pass for a touchdown to start the game, 7-0 lead. As I mentioned last week, they had not taken a snap with the lead at any point in the season. Because anytime they took the lead, they always gave the ball back and immediately let the other team tie it or go ahead. So Dan Campbell is not going to let that happen this time, as he had an onside kick in the first quarter after their first possession. And it fucking worked. I actually was screaming at my television. I couldn't believe it worked so perfectly. It's just such a rare occurrence in the pros these days that an onside kick actually works. Plus, you never see a first quarter onside kick, but it was brilliant. The idea is don't give the ball to the potent Rams offense. And that was not a bad plan. It was basically the only way they had a chance, and it was working. The Lions did take a snap with the lead finally after that onside kick and went down and got a field goal. So they were up 10-0 before Matt Stafford even had the ball in his hands once. So that part was brilliant. There's also a fake punt in the first quarter that
a lot of they went to the bag of tricks early.
Well, yeah, it's like if you're pulling all the stops with an onside kick, you might as well fake punt. You know, if you've got the chance and you've seen their tendencies and it obviously worked well. Uh, Jack Fox, Lions punter, executed a 17-yard fake punt pass for a first down. That is the first pass in the NFL completed by a punter this year. The 17 yards is actually the sixth longest pass by a punter in Lions history. So there's your great moments in Lions punting history for the week.
Yeah.
I'm getting these all from the Lions Twitter feed. Like they are pumping up all the punting stats they can. Every week there's something historic with our punting. So, and the Lions are all too happy to point it out. So yes, yet another great moment in Lions punting history. They had a second fake punt that was executed properly. So yeah, I mean we're dominating the league in punting in every aspect that you can imagine. Unfortunately, that is usually a sign of complete failure. And that is who the Lions are. That the strategy I mentioned, you know, keeping the ball away from Stafford worked fairly well, but of course, anytime Stafford had the ball, they pretty much scored. The Lions were down, I believe, 17-13 at the half. But you know, keeping it close was really all they could hope for. And like I said, they had a shot to actually come down and tie the game in the fourth quarter, but of course, Jared Goff, who is the rare combination of a quarterback who is not a threat to hurt you deep and is still a turnover machine, threw a brutal interception in the red zone with under 5 minutes to go, thus cementing the loss. You know, the Lions, the story of the year is red zone opportunities gone awry. They had 5 chances in the red zone on Sunday and came up with 0 touchdowns. And that's almost the exact same stat line as in Chicago a couple weeks ago. So many times they move the ball and just cannot convert those into touchdowns. So what can you do? You know, again, it's a blessing in disguise because this season is a wasted season, and the higher our draft pick is, the better. As we have cemented, we're doing our best to cement the number 1 overall draft pick. The only stats I had were just more quarterback comparisons. I think Jared Goff had 250 yards passing, you know, 1 TD in the first quarter, 1 interception. Meanwhile, Matt Stafford, 350 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. So you can just see the difference right there. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I've got for the Lions. Everyone was kind of looking at this game for a long time, just as like I said, a referendum on what the past 11, 12 years meant for the Lions and Matt Stafford. And we know exactly what it was. It was us all along.
I think we might as well just stick with the NFC North at this point in time, as I had told everyone I think the only reason the Bears haven't lost their 3rd game in a row is John Gruden was creating turmoil within the Las Vegas Raiders organization, because they seem to have magically found their offense with the firing of Gruden and are piling on 30 plus points the last few weeks. So everything seems fine over there. Meanwhile, back in Chicago, the Bears have lost their 2nd game in a row, and it was even more embarrassing than the loss at Green Bay the week prior. And I said that 12.5 is going to be easily covered by Tampa Bay this week. And boy, was it ever.
38-3. Was that the final?
Yeah, I got to see a lot of this game.
I did not. I was toiling through
that
Lions Rams game, but
yeah, we were on the red zone, but then just for laughs, we had a iPad with the Bears game going, just to my son and I, just to see how comical it was. And boy, was it ridiculously comical, and probably just like I don't even know where your head's at if you're a Bears fan, other than you want the McCaskies to abandon their "we don't fire a coach mid-season" history as.
Can you fire a guy with COVID?
Yeah, well, and that, yeah, I don't even know. Is that allowed? I don't know. He may be
Yeah.
on. He may be on family medical leave. You can't fire him then.
Yeah.
But we got the Bears. There's a bunch of questions that need to be answered by the Bears, and let's start at the QB position. The question you have to ask yourself: are the Bears ruining quarterbacks, or are they that bad of a judge of talent, or is it a little bit of both? Fields had 5 turnovers in the game. Two of those were fumbles. So not only is he making poor decisions in the pocket when throwing the ball, he's not taking care of the ball as a runner or when he's dropping back to pass either. I can't remember. I think one was out of the pocket and one was in the pocket. But like, it's just unacceptable no matter what your level of playing quarterback is. Like you don't turn the ball over 5 times normally in the NFL and even come close to winning a ball game. There are some anomalies to that. I'm almost positive in one of their brilliant NFC matchups, the Cowboys turned the ball over 5 times and still won by like a field goal or something. But like, it does happen, but normally it doesn't happen. And then when you watch Fields, like, again, is this the Bears not playing to the strengths of their quarterback, which would seem to be kind of the MO there with Nagy, that he doesn't.
Yeah, you've seen it.
You've seen it with Trubisky. You know, I know it was only a preseason game, but you saw Trubisky in Buffalo rolling out and being able to play his game and throwing 4 touchdown passes in a preseason game. So
I forgot he's in Buffalo. I haven't heard his name since. He's just a backup that.
But I honestly think Buffalo drafted him because if Josh Allen does go down, they have the same style of football, and he works within their scheme. Now, I'll give you, Nagy inherited Trubisky, so he didn't really have a choice in the matter.
Yeah,
he was there before. Somehow they were hiring a new coach, but they went ahead and drafted their star quarterback, their franchise quarterback, traded up. That didn't have to, but that's been covered. But now watching Fields, it's like you got this guy who's a mobile quarterback who should be probably playing outside of the pocket more, but he's sitting in the pocket and he does not they don't give him quick reads. And he's a guy's holding on to the ball for like way over 3 seconds.
Well, and that's a bit on Fields too, though. That was kind of the knock on him, is that he did not get rid of the ball quickly at Ohio State.
So, and he didn't have to.
Well, but that was the one thing that a lot of pundits were talking about coming out. So that Nagy can't figure out a way to help him with quick reads is negligence. I mean, that's just not what he does, I guess. So
yeah, I mean, you know, you set up a bunch of clean picks, so to speak, that he can hit that first read right away and get him comfortable back there. So, and then get the defense, you know, in a position where they're worried about the short pass, and then you're going to have time to get someone, you know. It's like football 101. It's not really difficult, but I feel like Nagy's like, it's my way or the highway. This is my offense. This is the Bears offense, and we're not making adjustments to it. And it's just ridiculous. And the McCaskies are getting everything they deserve. I don't know necessarily if Bears fans deserve this, but they kind of do, because they continue to go to the games no matter how bad the team is. And I was talking to some White Sox Bears fans this week, and they were like, Bears fans got to start doing like what Sox fans do when the team sucks. You just don't show up, and then it pushes organizations to make some sort of change.
Ooh. And
a lot of stuff that's going on now is something that we talked about, because I'm getting everything in like news feeds and like local articles and that. They're talking about, let the Bears go to Arlington Heights now. Bring us a second club that's gonna do the right things and play the right game. A lot of people are like, we welcome the second club here.
Yeah.
Let them go.
That's what we talked about a few weeks ago
Yeah.
when that first came up. It's like, well, the Bears are picking this time poorly to announce that they have or are trying to purchase Arlington Park or whatever the fuck it's called, because they have such a negative Q rating in the city right now that's exactly the reaction we anticipated. That people are like, get the fuck out of here, don't let the door hit you on your way out. So
Yeah.
that's just a bad situation. I love it. I love every second of it. As much as you and I hate the fucking Chicago Bears, they're the architects of their own demise right now. So
Yeah, and there's this one play in the fourth, or no, it wasn't. The score was still the third, when I actually thought Fields was not getting back up. I mean, they were just able to tee off on him, and he got hit pretty hard and hit in the arm as he was throwing. And
I don't want to see, as much as I hate the Bears, I don't want to see that. But
no, I don't ever want to see anyone get injured. But yeah, it looked really bad, and you just kind of like, guys,
what are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing here? So to add insult to injury for Matt Nagy, he gets a positive COVID test on Monday morning.
Yeah.
So the assistant coach has been running the team through everything. They have a few other members of the team who are already on the COVID list. I think I think it was one of their starting linebackers who has like 5.5 tackles or something. He's the second highest on the team or something. So
did they say, is Nagy out like a minimum amount of time, or does he?
Well, so the way
negative a couple times.
I think it's similar in all sports. He has to have 2 negative COVID tests within a 24-hour period or whatever. So before he can go back. So said he said he was feeling fine. The funny thing is about the whole thing, and then kind of ironic of him having COVID, is he talked about how close the team got this week in the last 24 to 48 hours before their big matchup with Tampa Bay. And it can't even really be explained into words on how they took this next step forward. And then you go out on the field and completely shit your pants. I mean,
worst
just
loss of the year. That's
just
hilarious.
Just shut your fucking mouth, dude. You're just a clown. It's just a clown show there.
Read the room.
Yeah, read the room is right.
That's probably enough on the Bears for 1 week.
But we get to stay in the NFC North because the Cowboys are traveling to Minnesota for Sunday Night Football on the Halloween edition.
Nice.
And I'm just gonna tell you, the Cowboys are going to be 6-1 after this week. Not going to really be slowed down, except if for some strange reason, they say it's not an issue, but if for some strange reason Dak Prescott weren't able to play, as he did not practice Monday. They said it was all precautionary. But I didn't see the report today if he was active or not in practice. So
I think they'll wait till the last minute to make any kind of announcement. They don't. I mean, they need to have him in practice, but I mean, I think they're milking every moment they can out of this. Like you said, 2 weeks ago, that he had the injury at the best possible time because they had the most time to deal with it. So I don't know. I think I'm cautiously optimistic about that, about Dak.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think he's going to play, but like part of it's, once you put a star on the questionable list, you don't take him off that quickly because it leaves the other team.
Yeah.
But, you would think any team would just plan for Prescott because anything except Prescott is a step down. So,
yeah, who's your backup?
Not the Nucci. Shit, I can't even think of the dude's name.
It would be a step down then.
Yeah, I mean, crap. I'm not even gonna try. But anyway, yeah, it's not. We didn't bring in like a veteran. We didn't bring like an Andy Dalton-esque person back. Oh, and speaking of Andy Dalton, the Bears, if you really want to win a game, you'd be smart and put Andy Dalton into if you really are trying to win. But anyway,
that's not what the fans want, though. The fans are clamoring for Fields since day one.
Well, they got what they wish for.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think the Cowboys moved to 6-1, and with my upset special being totally correct without any even sweat of Tennessee over the Chiefs this week.
That's right.
The Chiefs were the one game I circled on the calendar of the Cowboys actually having a real challenge, but I questioned that at this point in time as the Chiefs fell to 3-4 this week. But speaking of upset specials, we're gonna take a trip into the NFC East, and I'm gonna pick the football team to beat the Denver Broncos at home.
Ooh.
Part of the reason is I watched a pretty healthy Denver Broncos team play the backup offense to the Cleveland Browns this past Thursday night, as no Chubb, no Mayfield, no Beckham, and the Browns still kind of easily just won that game. The Browns had some people missing on defense too. So I don't have a lot of faith in the Denver Broncos, even at full strength at home. And I think Washington is they're kind of they're getting a little bit of mojo. Their offense is starting to click a little bit. So they are underdogs. According to FanDuel, the money line is plus 138. I would just take the money line in this one and run.
Wow. Football team. That's the first time they've come up in a while. Hopefully the last.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really like to give them any kudos or credit, but this seems like a perfect storm for them.
Nice. Well, that's all I've got for this week, unless you had anything else.
No, hello? I'm here. You like cut out for like a quick second. No, I haven't forgotten anything. I remembered everything.
Wow. Nice. Well, I think that wraps up episode 22 of the Limp Ditkas podcast. You can find us at limpditkas.com with all sorts of crazy merchandise, hoodies, t-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, all in our irreverent form, celebrating and mocking the Lions, having some fun with the Michigan State and Michigan rivalry, all sorts of crazy shit over there. So check that out. You can find us on social media at Limp Ditkas, and you can find this podcast anywhere you'd like to find a podcast. So with that, I'm going to declare this is Dagger time. We out. Peace.
Peace. Go Stay.